You're live, baby!
Hello and welcome back to the Canada Contenders League, otherwise known as CCL. We have a very important matchup for you tonight, but unfortunately, only one, as the other matchup was a forfeit. So for tonight, we are going to have Agony versus ACME Esports. And yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, if we go and have a look at the standings really quick, you can see they're both going to be competing very closely for the final playoff spot in Group C. This is, in fact, the final round of Group C. And on Friday, we have the final round of Group A, which will be between Seer and Mystic Academy.
Yeah, so that's going to settle up who makes into Group A. So SYR, Mystic Academy, that's going to be a great game. But tonight we have Agony and ACME, both with 2 points, both with a tied round differential. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table tonight, because I know that this match is going to be weighing on their minds heavily. We're going to be seeing true high levels of competition tonight, because they have to bring it all if they want a chance to make it into the CCL playoffs.
Yes, now if we go ahead and move on, we are going to have a look at the rosters real quick, I believe. And I mean, lots of players in these rosters, a couple familiar faces, including Taro and Arendelle. But other than that, I mean, these guys have just been around quite a bit, going around through T4 and lower T3 and finding themselves in two pretty solid rosters who have been competing quite well so far in CCL.
Yeah, we've seen their performances so far, so we know a little bit of what to expect out of these rosters here. Agony and ACME, both well-known orgs within the community, but these rosters looking relatively new as far as their longevity together. So what they're going to bring is it's all going to be left on the table tonight. I'm so excited. I'm getting the jitters. I just can't wait.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what we're going to play on if we move over to the map bans really quickly. So starting off, we are going to actually be having Agony banning first, I believe. Yeah, and there we go. That's going to be Border off the board immediately. Brand new map, and no one seems to want to play it. I mean, very attacker-sided, but Villa is well off the board pretty promptly.
Yeah, it's going to be your first 2 bans. Border, I'm not surprised about. Villa is a staple. Next is going to be Theme Park, and that's a ban that, nobody's really happy to see that, but it's expected. Now, Bank, that's another map that teams, you're either comfortable on it or you're not. Let's move into our first pick here. What are we going to see?
So immediately, we're already going to have Agony picking out Oregon, sort of this fundamental proving ground where both of these teams will get to determine who has the best fundamentals. And we are going to be seeing ACME starting on attack for that map. And then ACME's pick as well is going to be Clubhouse, a map that, could be really reliant on the operator bans.
Yeah, Chalet getting banned out next, so that's not a big surprise there. They've picked their staple maps, Oregon and Clubhouse. They know their fundamentals, they know they're frag heavy, and so Oregon and Clubhouse, no surprise. Chalet off, Skyscraper off. That's going to leave Cafe to be our decider. So 3 staple maps in every team's pool. You have your 5 maps really that you want to be well focused on and well rounded, and so Oregon Club Cafe, it's going to bring everything out from these teams tonight. Super, super pumped.
Yeah, and Cafe as well. If we do see us going there, I mean, very flexible map historically for defenders. And so seeing the flexibility with that the attackers have, and now the defenders as well, it tends to lead to a pretty tight clash. So we're going to go ahead and just about get ready. I mean, I'm really excited to see this. Like you mentioned, everyone's going to be bringing their absolute best to this, because it's now or never. It's do or die. It's make playoffs or go home for both of these teams at this time.
Yeah, the level of competition that we're going to be seeing tonight is going to be absolutely stellar from both of these teams. Can't wait.
So we're going to go ahead and get that started for you just in a moment. But in the meantime, right? I mean, what's your experience with CCL so far, Fuego?
No, I'm super pumped to be here. This is a league that I've been watching pretty consistently, and I love the level of competition. I love the level of production, super high quality. So I'm super excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, the production has been absolutely stellar so far, and moving right on into the operator bans. I mean, that's how we started off in Agony, being the players starting on defense. Are going to be starting off our bans for us with a classic Thatcher off the board. And now, I mean, the second attacking ban can really determine how this map is going to be played.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here to see a Maverick ban. I also wouldn't be surprised to see that That's a shocker, actually. Zofia
Yeah.
off the board. 150 bullet LMG. They don't want to deal with it, but she also brings an extensive amount of utility. Definitely a surprise, but with the way the meta is going and the LMG meta, not exactly surprised to see that ban.
Yeah, Mira off the board as well. That's going to weaken up the basement site just a little bit. We do still have Cade on the board, but with Maverick on the board, that is also, I mean, probably not going to be that much of an issue, assuming that these teams are well versed in the Maverick trick.
Yeah, and Valkyrie, the last ban, that is just a staple. I mean, she's got her presence on pretty much every map, and so Valkyrie is just a huge meta ban. And again, not a surprise to see her off the board.
Yeah, starting us off, we're going down to the basement. Fairly popular choice for the first round. I mean, you have Cade, Jaeger, Smoke. I mean, these are all really classic, kind of leading us to believe that this is going to be a very classic setup. There is a shield on the board, more than likely going to be placed in elbow as we continue with this round. And yeah, I mean, already building the rotates, building this sort of triple crossfire into bunker, and just making sure that is going to be locked up like Fort Knox at the beginning of this round.
Yeah, and see, what I'm curious is Oregon is a map where it's very default. It plays out pretty relatively the same with a lot of teams. A lot of teams are going to play this exactly very similar because there's just defaults that you have to resort to, and there's not a whole lot that you can do to really shake up how teams are going to play. And with the operator lineups that we're seeing from both of these teams, excluding the Ying pick, which even Ying is now making her way into sort of a default for Clubhouse or for Oregon, excuse me. I think it's really going to be a testament, like we've said, to the fundamentals. Because if these teams are just going to bring defaults and they're going to focus on how well versed they are in those fundamentals, then it's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, slugfest indeed. It's going to be a lot of figuring out how we can build up the best crossfires, what we can do to distract opponents from their friendly players as they try to make entries, try to take map control, and being able to maintain their map control as well. I've mentioned a couple times already that flexibility is going to be enormous during this matchup, and yeah, right there, amazing first pick by Nazi, or maybe not amazing, but classic. I mean, just coming out on the roam clear, going to get spotted out and going to be fairly easy. And Nazi, I believe, aware that there might be another player up here as well in the form of GP2, the Malusi player. Doesn't actually look like it. On cams already, making sure she's checking around and being safe. She moves on to the second floor, but well, moving on to that floor might not be entirely safe as GP2 is still playing in attic. Or sorry, not attic, that's T2.
Yeah, it seemed like GP2 was playing a little bit too passively there. And so Finka was allowed to just take that map control with really nothing done to prevent the Finka from just walking up and catching Vok off guard. Vok sitting down there. We know that he was drone earlier in the round. We saw the yellow pings come out. So Finka was just able to walk in, take that map control, and just catch Vok totally off guard there. GP2's got to be a little bit more aware of the roam presence there and play off his other roamer. And that won't happen. You know, if you got those players playing together, that communication's stellar and coming through, then picks like that just they shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. I really like this positioning for the defenders here, although I will say kind of weak on the laundry side. I mean, you shouldn't be allowing the Yana to just walk in like that. And really, I think what that comes down to is just a lot of teams don't like to take advantage of their barricades. I mean, it's a free sound cue. You know, you don't need to bring a legion for it. You just get a sound cue and you know, hey, they're here. Let's start rotating players around. Having a player in Chala is going to be super important as well. A lot of times here, we're going to see a sort of a laundry and mains and freezer push, and having the Chala player to build that crossfire with J-Tree there leads to a good pick. Very clean coming out from J-Tree.
Yeah, that's going to be your Ying off the board as your first pick for Acme Esports. And Ying is really the staple operator for this round because she's the one that's going to decide the entire momentum and how fast they can really take this push. A couple trades going to be coming out here. Nosy going down. Gug's going to find one, and then Taro and GP2 are both going to trade that back. Little 2v1 here. Gugsy going to find another one, and now we just have the smoke all left in his lonesome.
Yeah, 1v1, and unfortunately caught with a utility in hand. That is going to be the ARX, launching just a few bullets in his direction, going to end his life. I think that round kind of fell apart when they stopped expecting the main stairs and laundry push. They rotated a lot of their players away from it. They had a player playing deep in bunker, which is very good. It's a very good place to build a crossfire from when they're pushing the tower side, but then they just stopped pushing the tower side. I think they kind of said, "Hey, let's just kind of not go this way." And unfortunately, Agony was slow to respond to that and kind of let some free map control into the hands of Acme.
Well, and Acme was doing great there at playing the traits and
Mm-hmm.
taking the map control and not losing any map control, because every time they took it, if they lost a player in that section of map control that they were trying to take up, as they were pushing into freezer and pushing into laundry, every time that a player peaked and found a pick, that was immediately traded out. So beautiful work from Acme there to make sure that the control and the fight that they were giving in that last 45 seconds wasn't going punished there by the defense, and all the rotations that Agony were trying to make around the sites, just being caught off by those beautiful crossfires. And so beautiful round coming out of Acme for that first one. And now Agony is choosing to go back downstairs. Let's see if their top floor roam is going to be any more prevalent, and let's see if they can try to communicate a little bit more. So an early pick onto Vok, losing a Nitro Cell and a roamer. Let's see if that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, now we are going to be seeing a very familiar roam clear, very similar to what they did last time. And Showers Over is fairly classic, but now they actually have some players playing a little bit closer to each other, a little bit less extended, and that's going to leave a little bit, a little bit of safety in the hands of the defenders, who at this point are really just going to be trying to waste down the clock as much as they can early in the round. And uh, curious what they're shooting at. Don't know if they spotted something out, but yeah, I mean, look at this very very strong turtle. Just getting all your players back on the site looks very comfortable for the defenders at this point. But with 2 minutes and Gugsy Wugsy getting ready to make an aggressive play here, could be seeing our first scuffle.
Yeah, Lovely's going to find a pick elsewhere onto Vok, but Show is going to take down Gugsy as he tries to walk down main. So 4v4 with just under 2 minutes left. And now Lovely's on very low HP. What I also want to talk about is they decided to bring the map. They won the round without the map, but they swapped Nosy off the Finka to the Ying, and now they're bringing the map. So they're going to get a little bit more hatch pressure. I'm feeling like they're going to be doing an E-box drop here just based off the control that they're trying to establish. But then again, we could see the same freezer main, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I will say I don't think they would be spending the time to open this hatch if that was the case, though. Uh, Easy pick coming out for Nosy, who looks like she found someone on the flank there. And we do have Malusi still playing in T1 now. This could be huge. With that hatch open, you're going to need some side pressure as well coming from either Freezer or down the tower stairs. It doesn't look like they're aware that Malusi's there, and GP2 is going to find one, but staying in a very aggressive position. It's more than likely that she loses her life. And as I say that, V-Hix is going to hit a clean shot, leaving just Show and Taro for the last players. Ying still on the board, using that to her advantage, because look at that. She's getting her utility out. She's playing it correctly, and now suddenly an entry is going to be imminent. But Taro walks through the smoke and is just going to immediately gun down that player, trying to make their way into sight. And Acme finally here going to be picking up their second round.
Yeah, it looked a little bit shaky there. Show was making his way into E-box. He honestly looked a little lost, but then again, he was probably standing in the smoke and didn't really want to make his presence too much known there, as he was just immediately traded. So that was probably his big fear. So Acme going to take another round. That's going to be 2-0 and two basement defenses. Their primary site for Agony going to be down the drain. They got to workshop something. They've got to switch it up now. So they're going to bring us up into the top floor. Relatively the same lineup coming out of Acme, although we're going to be switching Gugsy around to whoever he decides to end up on. He's gone from Blitz to Finka to Yana to about 17 operators there. But what I
Yeah.
like here is Agony's bringing a Castle. Now, Castle is an operator that can provide a lot of utility as far as cutting off the lines of sight and redirecting the attackers. I'm sure we're going to be seeing one onto the AC window and probably one onto the kids window. They really just want to stop those window crossfires that are going to be coming out. So I'm interested to be seeing if they're also going to be setting up to do. Doesn't look like they're setting up for a trophy hold, so it's probably just going to be pretty standard, and they're purely bringing the castle to help their site players sit a little bit more comfortably. That's what I
Yeah.
would assume.
Yeah, and looking at this lineup, it looks like they're not really going to be playing into that anyway. This is an incredibly aggressive lineup here. The only hard breach being in the pockets of Ying there, who I'm guessing is not going to be taking advantage of it. Classic push that's sort of come into the meta recently is bringing the Ying, bringing the Amaru. Amaru's going to be jumping into the kid's window there, and looks like applying a little pressure to distract the defenders. But yeah, Maru in the kid's window, and everyone else going to be finding their way through that window. We're going to have a very fast execute here in just a second, but one caught by an ADS, and now Gugsy Wugsy inside of kids does some damage, but Show is able to remain alive. He drops the hatch and tossing a nitro, not going to find iLovely, as Lovely is attempting to get the plant down, but Taro making his way back into kids, finding a good rotation, is going to find 2-3 kills, leaving V-Hicks alone. Last member alive, it's Lion, and well, he's going to have to find some skulls, or this is going to be very rough for him.
Yeah, the rush looked great. It looked like they were going to be able to work that out as Guggs got in. He found a pick on one of the kids players, got caught off guard by the it was Shell actually. It was the mute that was also sitting in kids. So I think they got caught off guard by the Ying Candela that got ADS'd because it was kind of like snap, they know we're here, they know what we're doing, and this kind of is not going to work. But then at that point you have to commit to it. If you're going to make a
Right.
rush like that, you've just got to commit to it. You've got to throw in that second Yin Candela and just pray that everything's going to work out, because at that point it gave them that momentary hesitation from Acme, gave Agony, the players there, enough time to rotate around and find the crossfires that they needed to hold, because they had a couple players that were sitting downstairs. So that by that time, those players had already rotated up white and were helping apply a little bit more pressure on a big window as the kids rotation player walked into kids and was also holding the crossfire with them. So if you leave that kids player isolated, that plant and finding those gunfights is a lot easier to do. But the momentary hesitation there ultimately was the downfall of Acme there.
Yeah, it's incredibly important as an attacker to have a plan. Make sure you go through with it. Now, I will say Gugsy Wugsy looks like a man with a plan, if you ask me. Opting for Blitz, obviously, it can be picked out during attacker repick, but it looks like they're expecting basement, which is exactly where they're going to be going. The floor is going to be very important in terms of just clearing out this shield here and elbow, and Blitz as well looks like just going to be kind of a distraction. They have lots of well, is there a mute on the board? There is a mute on the board, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for them to be getting their Twitch and Flores drones into the places they're trying to get them. But I mean, this is a classic bunker push. Now, really, I'm a little concerned because a lot of teams, like we just mentioned, having a plan, sticking to it is very important, right? But a lot of teams will build their plan around exclusively around bunker, which if you know about bunker, if you know about pushing into bunker, it is a triple crossfire. You can't only have players in bunker. You have to have some way to relieve pressure. That's why we see Hatch and back pretty much immediately every time before that. But in this case, yeah, looks like pretty heavy bunker pressure already with Gugsy Wugsy heading the way. That ballistic shield right in front of him.
Yeah, Rotero drone, smart usage. They're gonna walk in and just take out the Malusi Banshee. So when they start to go for this rush, the defense is going to be completely caught off guard. And there it is, Gugsy. He's just running in, smokes, reloading his shotgun. Guggs is gonna find that pick.
Goodness gracious, very aggressive play coming out from Acme. And honestly, not entirely surprised. It is a little odd to see it 2 rounds in a row, but it seems like they felt like it would work. But Karatik seems to be unaware of the Harry Potter position. Now, at this point, someone could swing from that direction, but he's preoccupied with the pillar player. And yeah, J Tree from Harry Potter gonna find one, and finds himself face to face with the Blitz and falls back right into a crossfire. Eventually, finally going to get shut down a little bit. We're in a 3v2, make that a 2v2 GP2 on a little bit of a tear. And now Nazi finally going to shut him down. V-Hicks and Nazi are the last remaining players who have to dislodge Show from this position. It seems like they know at least approximately where he is well, he's aiming, he's throwing lead right down range, and someone's going to have to peek him, or someone's going to have to throw a nade at him like that. Yeah, going to force him out of that position right when he tries to make the aggressive play. Fortunately, Flores has the presence of mind to shut that down.
Now, it was great recovery there from Acme, because honestly, the round looked pretty lost to me. Once they lost a lot of their bunker pressure, the Habana got swung by the Jaeger, and so they lost their tarps control, and then Guggs lost his life. getting a little bit too aggressive there, trying to peek over his shield. And then it was beautiful work by Nosy there to work his way down main, knowing that the players on site were going to be purely focused on all of the backstairs and bunker pressure that Acme was putting onto them. So Nosy, honestly, MVP of the round there, totally coming in clutch, working his way down main and finding that back pressure, because that was ultimately the turning point of the round. It really did look like it was lost for Acme. So great recovery. That's going to bring them up to a 3-1 scoreline. And now Agony Esports, having lost basement all 3 of the rounds that Acme has taken from them, what are they left to do but go for a tertiary site? So here we're going to see them go to Meeting Kitchen. Again, they're bringing out the Castle, the Mute, the Malusi, the Wamai, staple operators for them. They're not shaking things up a whole lot. What I would have liked to have seen from Agony last round is bring a Warden. Acme brought
Yeah.
Ying both basement attacks. So if you're going to bring any operator and switch things up, bring a Warden, because regardless, if they don't bring the Ying, they've brought the Blitz. So that would solve 2 birds, 1 stone.
Mm-hmm.
We might be seeing a
Warden is
2-2.
a tough operator to bring, though, especially right now with attacker repick, because the second you see there's a Warden, you just go, oh, I guess we're just gonna not play Blitz, or oh, I guess we're just gonna not play Ying now. And while he does have a lot of utility, if you're willing to use the SMG-12, most players are not. It's a tough weapon to use, and having that with only your primary shotgun can leave a lot of players feeling very uncomfortable. Very aggressive play coming out anyway, and it's not going to pay off. While they did find the opening pick, the second one isn't going to be quite so successful. However, I will say they have dropped server control, and well, now being aware of that player there, they might know that server is available. If they can sneak their way into there and put themselves like a thorn in the side of the site, it might be beneficial to them in terms of building their execute down the road.
No, with Nosy finding another pick there, that's going to be leaving J-Tree all alone on the site as both of his players try to make a rotation. Now we are going to see the Mute Vok rotate his way into security with GP2 coming up tower stairs, applying a little bit of the backside pressure. No, good nade comes in, though. That's going to clear a lot of utility, and now Acme can start working their way. It looks like they're going for a dining execute. Gugs is going to find a pick. That's going to make it even harder here for Agony to try to hold onto this site, even with the Mute above holding a good cross onto their dining execute that they're trying to go for.
A very solid cross, but 2 players, and not to mention not having really prompt server control. And yeah, that's about to be taken from them, stripped from their hands, as this execute just becomes harder and harder to deal with. TS Vok, though, gonna find Nosy before a very quick trades come out by V-Hix. It's all up to J-Tree in this situation. 1v3, make that 1v2 as Gugsy is down. And well, at this point, this is his opportunity. He has a 1v1 if he gets there before the plant goes down, but it's not going to happen. And now he's going to have to walk into a crossfire to find these kills. Aware of the proning player, he is going to find it. Now it's a 1v1, but Karatik wisely has fallen all the way back into the shower's hall. He will be able to hear when the diffuser is going off, and J-Tree has to get aggressive here, but there's so many angles to check, feeling very uncertain about where Karatik could be, but he's going to try and go for the defuse. Karatik is aware and pushes up a little bit. He's in an unfortunate position, and J-Tree is going to take advantage of it, downing Karatik, and now managing to find the defuse. A round stolen right out of Acme's hands. Thank you to J-Tree.
Wow, yeah, huge from him. Finding the 1v3, he's going to down the Yana very first off. That's going to leave him in the 1v2, and then he catches the prone player. Beautiful shot from him, finding the head on the prone player sitting there just in kitchen, trying to, I think he was trying to hold position while the thermite could rotate out, but he eventually loses his life as J-Tree just gets overly aggressive, and then Karatik, J-Tree beautifully played there because he baits the thermite off the corner angle up into the hall at least, and that's all he needed to do is he takes the swing and finds the pick. Beautiful work from J-Tree there to pull that out and bring Agony up to a 2-3 scoreline.
Incredibly level-headed by an Agony player at this point. Being down 2-3, you're feeling a little bit of pressure. This is, traditionally speaking, a very balanced map, but you'd like to get at least 3 defending rounds, and when you're down 1-3, that's going to be, well, that's going to be a lot of pressure, and being able to maintain your level head is super important in those situations. And I think J-Tree was a very good example of that in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do because Agony, having already lost 3 rounds on their primary bomb site, they are just grasping for straws here. So J-Tree, he needed that round. He absolutely needed it. And to bring Agony up to 2-3 to where they at least have a chance at an even half, they've already lost their defensive side. Oregon is a very defender heavy map. 4-2 split is really ideal as defenders. So they've already lost that. They've thrown that away. And so J-Tree, great work from him, realizing that he had to do everything that he had to do to just keep his team in this game as far as he's concerned. So excellent work from him. Now we're gonna go see kids' dorms for this next site. What do you think? Acme, do you think they're going to go for a rush again? Do you think we're going to see that? Or do you think that we're going to see them actually try to attack this site and try to just do their best to secure their 4-2?
I don't see them going for a rush here. I would be incredibly surprised just given the operators they have brought. I would not be surprised to see them going for a classic split. Both Attic and the game's walls being vulnerable to Maverick could be the deciding factor in this round because if either or both of them get open, that allows a lot of pressure onto this part of games that we see below us right here. Now, that can be very important because it's hard to get in there. If you have control of Swamp, you can kind of get a plant there right on that attic door, kind of next to where that shield is. And that can be really hard to dislodge as a defender. It can also be very hard to dislodge as an attacker, though. So I reckon once we see that this kind of style of push coming out from the attackers, that shield will be rotated to allow a little bit more pressure onto Trophy.
Yeah, Acme's they're not going to switch up their lineup. They're instead going to stick to their guns and bring this very well versed, well rounded attacker lineup here because, like you said, they can do a lot with this lineup. They can send the Mav and the Nomad over to Attic, and they can start working open up into like T3 or T2, excuse me, and then we can also have the Habana with the Lion and Sledge, which is pretty much what we're going to be seeing. Although that's going to be a thorn in the side there. If Agony
Oh,
decides to get aggressive onto these head holes that they've made into the Master Wall, this or the Games Wall, this could be a little bit tough for Agony or for Acme to deal with. They've got to find these players out and examine really how Agony is going to be holding this because they can't get too aggressive and try to walk their way into closet lest they get taken out by a huge cross angle from there on the bunk, or I think you can even get an angle onto that wall from the kid's door,
yeah.
even. So Acme's got to take it slow. They've got to find out what they need to do to be able to take this away from Agony and find their 4-2.
And looking at their positioning right now, oh, what a nade from Nosy. Beautiful toss. That's going to make that C4 ineffective. But in any case, yeah, I mean, that's just part of the plan. I mean, being able to take control of Trophy here is going to be vital. It's going to be one of the things that allows you to remove some pressure from that attic breach. Another thing that allows you to remove the pressure is just this, or sorry, I said attic breach. I meant games breach. But the attic breach is going to be vital in this situation. If they can get over there, it's going to make it just that much more difficult for you to hold any of games. And now, if you look at this situation, Nosy has managed to find his way into the closet. He has a huge crossfire, and now taking control of Swamp will completely cut the site in half, allowing for an execute to occur.
Yeah, Vok going to find a pick there. GP2 also going to pick up another one. That's your big window pressure gone. So now these last two players are going to be sitting in attic with just Karatik holding over on the trophy side. He's going to take a little bit of damage here too. So those picks traded out beautifully. They found the opener with that nade, but now Agony, they've retaken a little bit of control.
Yeah, VHIX is well going to go down to J Tree. This is a tough situation for Acme Esports. Definitely disadvantaged as they attempt to build crossfires, but these are going to be tough crossfires to build. Agony is very confident with their positioning, and oh, a swing comes out. Beautiful shot by Karatik, shutting that down. Now, I Lovely trying to make his way into the site just does not hit his bullets, and TS Vok going to punish that, ending the round and the split 3-3.
Yeah, beautiful shots from him there, and beautiful round from Agony. That's what a way to claw their way back. They didn't lose their focus. They pulled the J Tree mental out, and even though they lost the opening pick, Vok sitting there, or what? Not Vok, the mute that was in Swamp. That was a quite a monumental pick because that allowed the Attic players to push up just a little bit more aggressively. But then they got super aggro. They found two picks and they lost their big window pressure. So now the players that were sitting in trophy and sitting in the game or the master closet were all left up to just being swung out by the bunk players, by the kids players, especially by No or J Tree that had moved his way up into playing Bolo there on the bookshelf. So beautiful round there from Agony. And as they move into this attacking half, they've at least done a little bit to secure them a more solid half, because a 4-2 in favor of the attack is just not where you want to be. So this matchup going dead even so far in the first half, I'm not surprised at all. They being tied 2-2 in the standings, and this match really being this match being the decider on who moves into playoffs, 3-3 half. It's beautiful. These
Mhm.
players are really, really working and grinding, and it's paying off here, because we're seeing an intense level of matchup here.
Agreed. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less, although I do expect a little bit less from Nosy. That is very aggressive. But looks like this whole play is going to be very aggressive. Attempting to maintain control of the second floor as long as possible is going to disallow the players from doing what I mentioned earlier. That is making their way down tower stairs, opening up the hatch, and getting their way into bunker. And now they can even play off of that meeting hatch, but such an aggressive play coming out from Agony. I mean, just look at this operator lineup, and while Nosy is going to find the initial pick, TS Vok is going to take elbow control very promptly. Nosy with another, though. This just is not happening, and the shotgun gonna tear it down. This aggressive play completely shut down by Karatik. Goodness gracious. I mean, if you believe in that shotgun, it will work miracles. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, insane from him, finding 3 picks, swinging out into the bunker shield. I mean, I like that, because they reinforced the other side of the wall than what you would normally see, and so him backing off, playing out with the shotgun, I was expecting Lion to lead in there with at least a flash or a stun or something to try to take that control, but they didn't. They all funneled through, and so Karatik swinging around, pulling down 3 players back to back to back. Beautiful work from him to secure Acme their first round, and now things are looking good. Acme already has done what Agony could not do. They secured a basement round, and Agony even brought the Ying. They took a little bit of notes from Acme there on their basement attacks, but it just didn't pay off. The Ying Candelas just weren't proving fruitful. They got the bunker shield control, but if you can't deal with Karatik on the M590 swinging around and
Yeah.
pulling out 3 players, then you've got great control, but you've got nothing on the round. So
Yeah.
beautiful there from Acme.
Yeah, and speaking of Karatik, what operator is that? What
Um,
operator is that, Fuego?
I don't want to say. Do I have to say?
You have to say it because I
Okay.
said so. Yeah.
Okay, it's a
Um,
clash.
it is a
It's
clash.
everybody's favorite operator to play against.
Yeah, very interesting, and lots of aggressive holes as well coming out from Acme. I don't know entirely what the plan is. Potentially, I think she could be very potent in attic, as well as just being very potent playing around that trophy area. All those holes could be blocked up by her shield, and it's going to make it really difficult for Agony to find any ground. Definitely seems like Acme were very well prepared for this map, and well, that would explain why they picked it.
Yeah, I'm assuming Clash is probably going to be playing in Attic, denying a little bit of that pressure, because if you have players that are trying to play aggressively onto Swamp, there's just not a whole lot they can do, because once you clear those ADSs, they just nade you, they push you back, and then they aggressively take the control and trade it out. Jaeger, lovely, getting aggressive, not finding anything though, and now he is trapped in garage, but he makes it out. How do you let him escape? Now he escapes with only 30 HP, but you can't allow Lovely to escape like that. He's just worked your team over as far as distracting you and finding a minute of his time wasted.
Yeah, Man's sister ran a marathon to get his way out of there, and fortunately, he is on drone, so they're aware of his position, and there is going to be a player holding that. And yeah, I mean, with a minute and a half left, there's plenty of time for them to work their territory and get this ground, or get this player out of this ground. And oh goodness, yeah, his back is turned, and while he successfully wasted quite a bit of time, I mean, there were definitely opportunities for him to find a pick, and none of them were successful. Gugsy, though, is going to trade it back pretty promptly, and Karatik feeling pretty safe here behind his own little shield that he's got. And now with smoke as well, goodness, there has got to be at least a minute of denial on this push. And not to mention, if he gets another player playing with him, that clash is going to make that swing as easy as it gets.
Ooh, Gug's gonna find a pick though, but a little bit of damage traded back on him. That's a beautiful nade from below. It's not gonna secure the kill, but it is gonna get him low. And now, I want to talk about Lovely's roam, because it looked a little bit whack to us, but actually, what he was doing was stalling out a minute and a half wasted. So then, when they run into the clash, they have nothing left to do. Vok gonna find a
True.
pick, Nosy trading it out, and now last 2 players are just located in trophy with little to nothing that they can do. No breach opened, and that clash is still alive.
Clash is still alive, and there's still a smoke in the pocket of Nosy. So yeah, getting in here is going to be tough, and they're basically looking at a three-way crossfire as well. Looks like they are going to be able to actually open up the attic, or sorry, the master wall. But whether or not that's going to be fruitful is another question. They've still got Clash to deal with, and there goes Taro down to the electricity. And yeah, there you go. V Hicks going to pick it up because, well, you got to punch that Clash. You got to do something about it. And unfortunately, there is not going to be enough time. No, well mentioned. He did waste quite a bit of time on that roam.
Yeah, wasting a minute and a half there with the Clash on the board, the,
Hmm.
the Roam looked totally disorganized and just like, what are you doing, Lovely? You're just giving up your life. But he's Jaeger. He can do that. All of his utilities already down. He's just a gun. And now, while he wasn't able to find a pick, that's okay because when they started walking through attic and they found that they were going up against a Clash, they wasted pretty much all of their utility just trying to dislodge her. But that's just not something you can do with Clash. So
Hmm.
the Clash pick there, pin ultimate, beautiful, worked out swimmingly well. And so they're gonna take another round. Are we looking for a hat trick here?
I well, I'll tell you what I do know. Not sure about the hat trick, but that would be very nice. What I do know is that my favorite operator is on the board. That is a Warden. And well, doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of stuns for him to be wardening, but there have been some smokes going down, and among other things, so he could find himself to be useful. He has brought the MPX, so not going to be useful in terms of opening up walls, but he does have a shield. Oh, never mind, he has a nitro. So yeah, Warden doing the exact opposite of what I would run him as. But well, guess I'm not Acme, and I'm gonna assume that they know what they're doing because they have been fairly dominant on this matchup so far.
They've certainly got a plan that they're gonna bring with him, and I don't think it's too I mean, it's not a poor choice, I don't think, by any means,
No.
because Shell is bringing smokes, Vok is bringing smokes. That's four smokes on the board. So if they decide to use even one of those for a plant, unaware of the Warden's position or where he's at when they're going for that execution, then Nosy could prove to be just the turning point of the round. He could find one pick, but then he's going to have done everything that he needed to do for the round. Although J-Tree's going to find a pick there onto Lovely. That's your Maestro gun, and that's quite a bit of utility off the board. Now, dead players can still rotate those Maestro cams. And okay, I thought there was a player on the defensive side sitting in T3, but wow, things are just getting aggressive. They're going to down the smoke here, and now it's a 5v2.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought they were gonna make that smoke play, but now they don't really need to. They have the players in the correct positions to get ready for this plant. And oh, there is a smoke on the top floor, but that's not where Nosy is. Nosy kind of stuck in the kitchen and not going to be able to do a whole lot. Although I say that right before he finds someone. TS Vok removed from the board and this execute going out. Now, I like how Agony is taking a lot of map control here. They're doing their best to make sure everything is safe, and with GP2 playing that position, it is going to be very successful. V Hicks now has a 1v4 up against with the plant down, not a very fun situation for anyone. And while Jaeger is a very powerful operator, he is not immune to bullets in the back of the head. Nomad going to finish that round off and give Agony their first round of the split.
Excellent attack there. Not exactly lost for Acme as this, it's your tertiary site. You can afford to give that one up, but beautiful attack there from Agony. It looked methodical. It looked like everything was planned out to a T. They found the picks that they needed to find, and so they found themselves going for an execute in a 5-2. That's always great when you're on an attack. That you're finding that yourself going for an execute. You're not exactly down. You're not pressed. You're not even really pressured at all because you go for that 5-2, you can trade that out even. If you don't even want to go for the execute and you just want to kind of walk up and take a little bit more map control, then you can do that because you've got the man advantage where you can just trade those picks out effectively. And they did not give but one like 1v1 scenario there, which Nosy was able to find, but they didn't give
Mm-hmm.
any other ones for those last two players on Acme to try to isolate. So beautiful attack there from Agony, not losing it, not giving Acme the possibility to clutch there. So excellent attack. And now they're going to be heading back down to the basement. Agony switching it up a little bit, not bringing the Ying, but instead they're going to be bringing an Osa. So what do you think they're going to be doing with that?
Well, more than likely, there's going to be a crawl tactic here, and I found that to be very effective over actually making a laundry and freezer push. So, while Flores does sort of indicate a bunker push, the simply the placements of the players does not. Although, yeah, running around, there's Flores, and looks like they are actually going to start applying some pressure there. GP2, though, entering way over on the other side of the map, looking to find a little bit of map control over there. And Flores already gonna eat that shield up and all that utility. And Karatik is just like, oh, now I've got nothing left in front of me except for my guns. And while we've shown that to be very effective in this particular situation, I mean, whether or not it's going to work out in this case, I mean, listen, you can believe in that shotgun as much as you can, but it's still a shotgun. There's still a little bit of RNG when you shoot that thing every time you pull the trigger. Oh my goodness.
And
All
then he
right.
re-swings and he finds it. There was just no reaction there from Agony as Lovely just gets insanely aggressive. And now GP2, he's about to walk in the kitchen to find a pick. He's going to find one. He's going to find the second one.
Ooh.
Huge entry from there. And now Day2's going to find another one. Now it's a 4v2 in favor of Agony Esports.
GP2 onto a third now, finding Gugsy Wugsy. Karatik, the last man standing, 1v4. Man, I'm getting tired of these 1vx's, I gotta tell you. Over and over again, from both sides as well. But here I get to see what he can pull off, and what he can pull off already is one of their heads. That is going to be J-Tree off the board, but, well, very nice widespread positioning by the attackers is going to make it nearly impossible for him to watch all the angles he needs to. Iana going to find him in the back and giving ACME another round.
Yeah, it was beautiful work there. GP2 just getting absolutely just insanely aggressive. Wasn't even playing behind a drone. He just knew the positioning, took a couple face checks. He caught the Jaeger off guard. And then when the Aruni tried to re-swing around and find that pick, was totally caught off guard. That's bringing this game is tied. This game has been neck and neck the entire way through. And now Agony have just won an attack onto a primary bomb site. So Acme electing to go back there, but totally switching up their lineup. So they found the first defensive round here on basement. Then they just lost it. And so now they're going back there and they're trying to, they've got to, what are they going to, they've got to mix it up here because we just saw Agony completely dismantle a Roam, but now they're bringing in Oryx and now they're bringing a Capcan. Capcan is great for shutting down a Roam clear if the attacking players aren't aware of the Capcan positions or the droning is not very effective, but Oryx.
That certainly is a decision. I don't know. I'm not gonna claim whether or not it's a good or a bad decision, but as you mentioned, yeah, that roam was a little bit shut down. However, I will say part of that was some of that micro positioning was just clearly very bad. I mean, realistically speaking, you know they're pushing T1, and then you turn both players to go look at small tower, and both of them get shot in the back. GP2 able to take advantage of that. I mean, that just, you can't let that happen, especially on competition of this level. TS Vok is is going to be able to find that utility. It was a little close, but it is going down. Flores proving to be a menace on this map, just like always. And unfortunately, that's going to relieve a little bit of control of Elbow. That being said, still plenty of pressure to keep them from actually taking bunker, and it's going to take some top floor pressure as well in order for that to be successful in the long term.
Yeah, Vox just getting a little bit aggressive here, trying to find some gunfights, and he's actually going to lose his life. He's playing way too aggressive there, taking gunfights. He doesn't need to, and so Lovely is going to pull him down, and they're actually going to be taking man advantage here, as you're going to lose a lot of utility on the side of Agony, but you're also going to be fighting into a 5v4 with no bunker. Actually, never mind. GP2 is now rotated to bunker. So you're keeping up the bunker pressure, but now he is lost elsewhere. We saw a lot of his impact on the last round on his roam clear, finding those couple picks. So now having GP2 rotate off the roam clear and now applying the bunker pressure, it could be a huge detriment. And now knows he's just going to get extremely aggressive as well. And he's going to find the pick on the show. That is your Finka down. That's 2 nades off the board as well. Not looking good here.
Yeah, well, Agony. I mean, I guess we found their plan. The plan was be aggressive, and so far it's working pretty well. TS Vok can show both off the board very early on during this round, and that is going to make it just that much more difficult for Agony to make any sort of an entry here. Nosy, though, finding his way into this quarter, maybe finding that positioning wasn't quite it. Gugsy Wugsy is going to find J-Tree, giving them a little bit of an opportunity to come back from that, but Taro as well. Just hope that his position is known. It is, as he walks through a Capcan trap. That's going to give away his position, and GP2 is still outside the bunker door. the infamous bunker door, the triple crossfire. He is not going to be able to make his way in there unless he proves that he is the next Newers. Now, at this point, it's going to be very difficult to do that, as Acme is very good at maintaining their discipline. They know, well, we got what we needed. We don't need to peak. And yeah, waits for him to come out right into position. And I Lovely going to take that opportunity. Acme finally putting themselves on match point, but followed closely behind by Agony.
Yeah, great way to hold. They were very disciplined when they needed to be, but they also found the aggression when they needed to take an aggressive stance against the map control that Agony was trying to take. I was a little shocked to see, I believe it was Nosy on the Womai just walking right up tower stairs and taking the gunfight on the show. But then again, you do what you got to do. They already found the opening pick. I feel like he thought it was worth it if he could try to, if he could, the 50-50 chance really for that gunfight to go in his favor, for him to walk up the tower stairs, that was good enough for him in his mind to justify doing that, and it worked out. And that ultimately just locked down the round, because it was a 5v3 at that point. They weren't really giving up any picks elsewhere, and so Acme just locking it out. And now we're going back up to a top 4 site, which we have seen them dominate on previously. So they're still bringing the clash. They're not going to shake things up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they're not fixing anything. But we can hope here that Agony can at least fix their attack, because last time we saw, Lovely just ran them around in circles, wasting a minute and a half of their time. And they've either got to get good about clearing him or get good about ignoring him, because that's the problem with a deceptive roam like that. You think this isolated player who's all alone is a free pick. You finally find that pick, but now boom, half the round is gone and you have nothing done. You have no hard breach down.
Right.
You have no map control taken. So I hope Agony learns from their mistakes here, doesn't get caught out on isolated roams like that, and when waste all their time. And I hope that they just do a little bit more of a direct push and they can clear this clash out sooner.
Yeah, now you said you did say Acme wasn't fixing anything this time, but I think they are fixing something that is fixing to win, as this is the match point round. This is very important for them, and well, it's their pick as well. If they can win this, they'll be very happy. Now, a lot of pressure coming out immediately, though. I mean, once again, classic split, and there is going to be the Clash player waiting for them in Swamp. They're going to have to clear a little bit of utility in order for them to push him or push her out of there, I should say. And well, it's still a Clash at the end of the board, at the end of the day, right? If she isn't completely eliminated, she's going to be there trying to deny the plant, getting right up in your face, and it's just going to make Agony uncomfy.
Yeah, with a clash, you have really two options on the board. It is you clear her quick and you make sure that she is your top priority first, or okay, GP2 prone, you're gonna catch Lovely out on
Goodness.
the swing. But with Clash, you have to clear her first and make her your top priority, or you clear everyone else out around her and leave her to be the lone player, and then she's a lot easier to deal with. But as long as she has people around her to support her, Clash is an absolute menace.
Yeah, now I would like to point out first pick actually does go to Agony this time. Karatek getting a little bit aggressive on this, as he did manage to avoid taking any damage from that grenade that was tossed her way. But now pulling her gun out, she's got to fight this back, and it's not going to work out. A few trades come out here and there. We end up 3v2 in favor of Agony, position they'd actually rather like to be in after the way this ran last time. And with another one, Gugsy Wugsy is off the board, and V-Hicks is alone, left to fend off versus three players who now all know his position. And with the skeleton key, oh, disrespect. Show gonna take us to overtime in a very classy way, pulling out the skeleton key and just saying, well, I don't need to aim if I can just shoot everything.
Yeah, V Hicks are looking a little bit lost. I feel like he was expecting pressure from the attic rotate and in the kids, and so he just kept looking back there and wasn't really. He just kind of seemed lost in that situation. Didn't seem like he had a lot of awareness on where the players were, and I suspect with all of the sound cues that were going on, we had lots of gunfire and we had the plant going down, and so he had a lot of things on his mind. Definitely did not have the mental fortitude of J Tree in the 1v3 situation there. Regardless, Acme going to bring us into or Agony Esports with a great attack there is going to bring us into overtime, and Agony starts on defense. They're not going basement. We know that.
Yeah, they're opting to go to the top floor, which I will say so far, 100% success rate on. They won the third and the sixth round on this site. Curious to see how Acme is going to choose to attack it. I mean, we've seen them go with a few options. They went for a very traditional split. They also went for the Ying Rush, which was very unsuccessful. But curious to see if we might see big window white, something along those lines. Just a little bit less aggressive. Not even clearing attic is something that I have seen and found to be pretty effective at times if you're capable of holding down trophy well enough. And so I mean, realistically speaking, they have a world of opportunity for them, and if they are flexible enough, they are going to be able to make it around Agony's defenses. After seeing it twice from two very different perspectives, I expect them to do so, but only time will tell.
Yeah, we see an attacker repick come out from Acme. Lovely. Electing to go to the Twitch. Taro, super aggressive. You're gonna pull out Gugs here, and that's gonna be your lion down. Now, it's a lot of passive utility. He doesn't really have to actively do anything with that. He just presses a button, but it's gonna make the operator sitting on site there just that much more comfortable because you can't just press a button and dislodge them from their positions. A repel in, not gonna go Nosey's way as Vok takes a very well-timed swing, and he's gonna take him down. Now we're in a 5v3. Agony Esports are looking beautiful here on this defense. They're going to look to keep it up to 100% success rate. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100% success rate here is the goal. This would also be the first time that they actually took advantage in the game so far. Now, obviously, we do have a 3v5. You guys can see that. And where the players are is they're doing this exact same classic split. And there's so much pressure on Trophy. How effective is this really going to be with this player ready to clear out Trophy? Karatik being the only player ready to distract anyone, and five players in the way as well. I mean, it's going to take is a couple crossfires to really shut this down. Or 1c4 show tosses right now. Nope, not gonna happen. We could wish, but he's very much just trying to distract them as VHix is trying to get his way in behind them. Lovely has rotated a little bit to start applying a little pressure, but Show already is getting ready to start applying pressure back with bullets straight to the face. Now, VHix and Lovely have a lot of time to think, and really I think they're just going to try and work a pick here to see what they can do. And an aggressive play by from TS Vok is going to relinquish that. Now they're in a 3v4, much more winnable situation already.
Yeah, I was just about to compliment that Agony Esports plays so disciplined in these man advantage situations that they don't give up the free pick like that. But I suppose they're probably got a timer in their head, like, okay, play discipline for 45 seconds and then move in. And now that's going to be VHix moving in, going to pull Show off of the bookshelf angle. And so now we're in a 3v3. If Vok hadn't got so aggressive.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful crossfire coming out between Karatik and VHix. The swing had a response prepared, and it ended the life of the player playing on the trophy door. That's going to make it pretty easy to find an entry if they can get in and plant on this door right to attic. This could be a plant situation, but with iLovely going down, suddenly it's a 1v1. Karatik has to find this kill, and it's versus GP2, the best player on Agony. This is going to be very important with the flash going out. He's going to make the swing, and the flash doesn't find him. GP2 going to finish out the round for Agony and giving them the advantage for the first time on the map.
Oh, yeah, GP2 just completely Karatik completely unaware of GP2's positioning there. He flashed into attic, expecting him probably to be playing deep, maybe near the trophy walls, but totally disregards that there's a possibility of GP2 playing inside kids. And so he's going to go for the swing. He's sprinting. Unbind your shift key, please. You had like 15 seconds at that point. You could probably try to work a little bit more slowly and isolate that player. But I get it. Time's not exactly on his side. Not a whole lot that he could have done there in that situation. So Agony, 100% success rate. They've kept it going. And now they're up. First time this game, 7-6, match point with the potential to close this out in their favor. It would be an absolutely huge win for them as this was their map pick. So Acme Esports back down to basement where they haven't exactly lost convincingly. Have they lost?
Acme on basement. No, I don't think so.
I didn't think
And
so.
yeah, but I will say this is also a pretty different setup. There are three shields on the board, and we have yet to see where any of them are going to be placed. And exactly one reinforcement on the site as well. So yeah, gonna be pretty strong extension up to the second floor. I think they're expecting to do a very similar thing, but it looks like Agony is not expecting to do a very similar thing. This is something they have not attempted yet. This looks like a main and laundry push. This could be huge if this is effective because, well, it just doesn't really look like Acme is entirely set up for it.
No, I know that Lovely Shield went into bunker, and that was a little bit more aggressive. It wasn't near the corner. It was actually pushed up
I
on
think he
the
actually
Tarps
picked it
double.
back up and then moved it somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I hope that he would rotate it towards Laundry's side. Show might find a pick here. Jaeger's getting pretty aggressive on this angle, but he's going to think otherwise. But if they have their utility properly allocated and they do waste a lot of time on this sort of second or first floor roam that Acme's bringing, it looks like it's going to be a good round from them. I like what they're doing. They're not getting too aggressive. They are playing discipline on their roam, and they're making them clear, which is something that Agony was doing like very amazing at. So with Acme sort of bringing that same mentality, it's looking good from them. Although VHIC's going to get overly aggressive and unaware of the player that was sitting in dining, and so now that's going to be Show finding the first pick.
Yeah, Acme losing their first player very promptly, allowing for some entry to be happening. Yeah, down into freezer. Look at this. That is a lot of ground gained off that pick. And honestly, the entire second floor as well. All four players of Acme have been forced back onto the site. And now they're just going to have to build crossfires or find trades. Although I will say Gugsy is himself on the second floor. I think he has been spotted out, though. Someone shooting at him through a wall, and looks like he's going to be thinking twice about it. Yeah, going to be spotted out right there on the Twitch drone. Taro going to shut him down. The aggressive play is not going to pay off for Acme in this case.
No, it would have been a great roam had he walked up, got him distracted, forced him to hop on their cams and just sort of recenter themselves. But he didn't do that, and now it's going to be two back-to-back picks. J-Tree and Show both finding their picks. Agony are closing this out.
Goodness gracious. GP2 as well. Flawless round for the finish. And what a beautiful map that was. I mean, both of these teams clearly very capable at multiple different play styles. And then as well, I mean, Agony showing that they're very flexible. They were able to play around the things they expected Acme to do, and ultimately it paid off for them, actually managing to find that victory all the way at the end. So really, I have to say, well played by Agony, despite looking a little bit lost at the beginning. Once they figured out Acme, they figured them out and knew exactly how to respond to it.
Yeah, it was beautiful work from them. They started out almost, it seemed like on the back foot, and they just couldn't, it didn't look like they were really kind of catching up to the aggression that Acme was bringing. But then the last 4 or 5 rounds, we just saw stellar gameplay from Agony there. They didn't give anything up. They found their trades effectively. They were able to close out round after round. So they gave up a 3-3 defensive split just to take back a 3-3 attacker split. And then in those last 2 rounds, starting on defense, granted, is an advantage, but then they go over to attack and get a flawless, beautiful work there from Agony. You love to see it. 8-6 scoreline, bringing us into OT, almost going the full stretch, but still a barn burner nonetheless.
Agreed. And that is actually Acme's pick. So now we're going to be moving on to Agony's pick after the break, and that's going to be Clubhouse. But as I mentioned, we're going to be moving on to a break for just 1 minute. Don't go anywhere.
got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. Nothing, got nothing to hide. Nothing, got nothing to hide. I got nothing, got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide. Nothing, got nothing to hide. Nothing, got nothing to hide. I got nothing, got nothing to hide. I got nothing to I want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. want you to stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay.
Hello and welcome back to the Canada Contenders League. In the last little section that we had, we watched ACME and Agony go to Agony's pick map Oregon, where they fell behind very early on before slowly but surely bringing it back, finally gaining the advantage in overtime and winning. Now we move on to ACME's pick. This is going to be Clubhouse, and starting off the the operator bans, we have Maverick off the board.
Not a big shock there. I think I'm going to be seeing a double hard breach here. Habana, bring it to me. No, Thatcher.
Ooh,
I want to see
okay.
one more Thatchers on the board. But a Maverick Thatcher, you've got to ban the Cade. If you're Agony Esports, Cade's off the board. They can't afford to leave it up. Let's see it here. Come on, give me the Cade ban.
Give me the Cade.
And sure enough,
and
okay,
there you
cool.
go. You won the jackpot. And now I do really like the Maverick Thatcher ban. This is a little controversial, but also I think statistically true. Barbar, if Maverick and Thatcher, if either of them are on the board, Barbar is technically a better site than CCTV. So seeing them both off the board turns CCTV into a viable site. So I think that's generally what they're going for with that. And rounding off the operator unpick, if you will, it's Valkyrie. I mean, who's surprised?
I am just a little bit because I feel like you've got to ban Mira here. Valkyrie has a lot of prevalence on Clubhouse just for the outside cams, especially so you can watch Highway. So Valkyrie, I just don't really see her being all of that influential when you can use other intel operators or even bulletproofs to grab the same sort of intel that you would with the Valkyrie. Sure. But that's my personal opinion. I think Mira is going to be a lot stronger here, which going to the basement site, Acme's not electing to bring her. So I'll eat my words, but let's see if maybe Agony will switch it up and bring Mira on their defensive half. Agony choosing to go to attack here first. So they've obviously got some things up their sleeve. Right off the rip, we're seeing attacker repick into Fuse and to Buck and a Jackal. So they've got something planned, and I'm very excited for it. Fuse is an operator we don't see all that often.
No, I'm super excited to see how this round works out. And speaking back to the mirror as well, I think there's a good possibility that we see it during Master Jim hold, but that is not this hold. This is this hold. This obviously being basement, and looks like some pretty aggressive placements, and that is going to be a run out. Looking for the heads, not going to find any, and Nosy as well. Yeah, okay, just very, very early aggressive play. I guess Agony decided to say, or sorry, not Agony, ACME decided to say, hey, this is how we're going to play this map, and I hope you guys enjoy it, because we certainly do. Oh, goodness.
And yep. The aggression doesn't stop. Lovely finds a pick on the show, and that's your Buck off the board. Now, I know that when they were doing their operator picks, Lovely probably had proxies on, and so they were like, hey, bring impacts. We got to have you impact trick. And he's like, yeah, all right, bet. And then just go ahead and waste one for a spawn peak. I love it. Love it out of the guy.
For sure. And I will say as well that I don't think the impact tracking would be entirely effective, because not only do we have a Habana on the board, we have 3 more hard breach charges, one of which is already going to go on to, right onto that hatch, and impact trick is going to be ineffective, and here goes the fuse charge. I think it did actually catch the fuse charge, but, well, what? There was blood? I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if that's a visual glitch or desync or what, but yeah. TS, Vok, Show, J-Tree, all off the board. That's rough. There are 3 alibi clones at the bottom of main stairs.
I wasn't going to talk about it, but Taro's going to trade one back now. So Lovely's off the board. And the GP2 is also going to find a pick. So 2v3, not exactly an unwinnable situation. Nosy's very low HP. This is doable here for Agony. If they can find they can isolate another one, this is very doable for them. Looks like they're going to slow down, though. They're going to take the time to drone and see what they can work out here. Jackal on the board is going to be able to find one of those players exactly where that player is sitting and force them into their rotations. So all 3 of those alibi clones going out. That's a lot of wasted utility, huge impact on how this round's going to play out. I have no idea what you're doing, Gugs, but I love it. So thank you.
Yeah, all right. Um, yeah, I mean, thank you, Gugs. It's a thing, but yeah, glad to see Hibana back up on the top floor, making use of the fact that she still has plenty of X Kairos pellets in her pockets, and that's going to give a little bit more of an advantage to the attackers. They now have many more points of entry, including dirt, either of the hatches. I mean, they can go literally anywhere on the site and get into the buildings. So the defenders are going to have to be very vigilant, if you will, in order to prevent any sort of an attack. Now, GP2 is going to be droning himself into dirt, so that's going to give a little bit of a hint as to what they might be doing. More than likely a dirt and kitchen drop, and they're aware of smoke there, but he's got plenty of smokes in his pocket, so dirt is no longer going to be effective. Jackal really needs to find another way in, but he's not going to. 15 seconds left on the board, and I guess he's just going to try and push through the smoke. Arundel is going to keep his gun up, and they're really just trying to find this last pick. While GP2 pushes up, the SMG-11 is going to prove to be just too much. And Taro going down main stairs, I think he's just looking for a pick. Yeah. And V Hicks, unfortunately, is going to shut that down even so. No stats boosting for you, but, well, that round looked a little lost at, well, while they did bring it back from a 2v5 to a 2v3, it wasn't going to work out the second Jackal left this plane, moving on to the next.
No, what I would have liked to have seen there is the moto drop, because it was really their only viable option. They had the Mel that they either could have dealt with, but it would have given away position. There was a player bottom main, and the moto drop really is about all you've got left to play in the cards, because with the smoke sitting in dirt, shotgun M590 in hand, you're not pushing into dirt, especially not with him having 2 canisters, which he made great usage out of. So by the time that GP2 got around to pushing that with about 10 seconds left, there just wasn't a whole lot that he could do.
Right.
So great work for them to bring it to a 2v3, but I was not happy with their execute. I feel like they could have switched it up and maybe gone with a little bit better style of attack. But moving on to the second round here, I finally get what I want. I'm going to see the mirror. You were absolutely right. You win the jackpot, because heading into this gym master, we're going to see the mirror in play, and I hope that she's deadly. Now, I don't think Gugs is electing to put one in Logi, which is sort of the staple. That's the default. He has the one in bathroom. Okay, it's plain. It's good. But not electing to put one in Logi, instead going to put it on the gold rotate.
That is certainly a thing. I think it's perfectly viable. I think it will probably get destroyed rather promptly and without any ADSs on it or behind it. Someone's just going to toss a nade into gold, and that's going to be it for whoever's playing on it. But in any case, we do have a very large extension here. Nosy in garage at the moment, and I think he's just trying to get aggressive again, as well as Gugsy playing in cash. So there's going to be a bit of vertical interplay here, I'm expecting. But, oh my God, what an aggressive play by Gugsy. And it's going to pay off J-Tree losing his life. And that is going to be one of their 2 hard breach operators off the board. Now, obviously, this is a map that we like to bring 4 or 5 hard breach operators on. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but that is the meta currently. And yeah, I mean, you can see why with both of those locations open, it's going to be just that much more difficult to maintain your extension. And without that extension, Con is going to be a struggle, which construction being the key map control to take into the site.
GP2 kind of sleeping at the wheel here. Now, Show's going to find a pick, bring it to a 4v4, but Maestro, lovely. Oh, no, actually, that was lovely. That went down. So that's good. Okay, I was going to say he's just going to go unchecked, peeking the CC window, but he actually got picked off from it as soon as he shoved his face into it. So that's going to be a great pick there, trading that out. A lot of good utility off the board and a great gun, all to 81 bullets. Let the LMG sing. And so they're starting to work open this jacuzzi wall. They've got time to work these picks back in their favor. They don't exactly have all the hard breach unless Taro rotates over to open up and get any sort of cash pressure going. But if they can maintain the highway control and deal with this mirror promptly, I think that Agony can sort of work things into their favor. They're stacking 4 people on jacuzzi. Wow.
Yeah. No, I was going to say this Mira could be the problem, but no one's playing it. And now they're just going to start executing into Jim, which is exactly what I was going to say. They probably should execute. I mean, V Hicks Nosy way off site. It's going to be just that much more difficult to keep control of Jim as they're planting. Is they don't have any footholds. What are they doing over there? What took them so long to get back? I mean, you watched all 4 players walk into the breach. Oh my goodness. And now it's down to a 2v2. 2v1 is one of the players is down. GP2 gonna clean up that round. Agony taking full advantage of the fact that Jim has no footholds. You could kind of just hang out in there, get your plant down, and there are 2 players off the site. I mean, well played by Agony for taking advantage of the situation at hand.
No, Arundel sleeping at the wheel. He's got the
Yeah.
shotgun and just doesn't make the shotgun holes. They have the bailiff, which with the recent soft destruction change is now a little bit more viable as far
Mhm.
as making footholds and such like that. And they had the Mira with that ITA. So there's no reason, there's no excuse for those footholds to not go down.
And there
And
they are
yeah,
immediately.
immediately. First 10 seconds into the prep phase, Lovely's like, I'm not standing for this anymore. We can't be missing key things into our setup like that. So Lovely's like, screw it. I'll do it myself. I'll bring the I don't even know what that shotgun's called, but it's a beautiful gun, slug
ACS?
shotgun. ACS 12, thank you.
Yep.
So he's gonna bring the ACS 12 and he's just gonna get it done himself. So great work from them for making that beautiful adaptation.
Uh, I will ask why I didn't just bring, I don't know, the bailiff and maintain the Alda, but well, personal decision. The ACS 12 is still a very good gun. It's viable in many situations, especially if you're planning on playing aggressive, which Acme has been very aggressive so far. And yeah, there's a nuke going to be right on the top of Red Stairs and very strong extension as well. Lovely and VX, look at these aggressive positions. I mean, they're gonna have to make their way back if they want to take advantage of this extension at all. I mean, you can't really like have an extension and then not play it. All you're doing is putting utility in a place where it's not going to give you an advantage. If anything, I just end up giving the attackers an advantage. They play it in reverse.
Ooh, Taro's going to flub a little bit of those Solana pellets there, but I think he might be able to work an opening to where you can at least crouch into that if need be. One thing I want to talk about, well, as GP2 goes down to what gun? The ACS 12. Lovely's going to find the
Mm-hmm.
pick with that, and he's going to make it at least worth it. I'm going to bite my words, and I'm happy to do that because that's going to be a huge player off the board for Agony Esports. GP2 being their top performer across both maps so far. Beautiful work from them to find that pick.
I kind of like how they switched off Mira here. I think they realized that, wait, we're just kind of not playing the Mira. We're playing the super aggressive roam. We're going everywhere except for the site. And honestly, if we're not going to be playing on the site, why would we put utility there? So yeah, switching off the Mira, going to be potent. And well, the aggressive picks coming out from, goodness gracious, Acme is going to find 2. We're now in a 2v5. Make that a 1v5. An entry is failed. Taro immediately dropped. I gotta ask, this is definitely not the first time that we've seen GP2 go down first and then the entire round just looks like this and drops down into a 1vx almost immediately afterwards. I mean, there's got to be some correlation. Is GP2 the entry IGL? Is he the best entry? Why is Capcan making smiley faces? Many questions that have yet to be answered, but I'm sure we'll get a little more insight as the game goes on.
Yeah, I doubt that he's the IGL because usually a player that goes down first is going to be great at shot calling at that point.
Hmm.
And so for the round to just completely fall apart and everything to just not go Agony's way as soon as GP2's gone, he's just such an impactful fragger for the team. He's the one that walks in and finds the picks and often gives them those entries. So GP2 going down first, yeah, it pretty much spells disaster for the Agony Esports squad. Now, we saw, I think it was Gugs peek the CC window and find a pick, and J-Tree, we
Nope.
flipped right over to him.
He survives that and finds another. Oh my goodness, J-Tree.
Yeah, walking in, finding a couple impactless frags, but he's going to pad his stats. I think that's going to bring him, might bring him up to GP2 levels. We'll see, but yeah, no, he's caught sleeping at the wheel. I've spoke to this before. Putting an OSA shield there and just breaking it, beautiful. It's done because you no longer have to leave a player over on the CC plat to watch that, and you're not going to rely on J-Tree watching it, obviously, because he's on cams or he's watching for a blue rotation or something, whatever he's doing. But you just gave up a free pick. If J-Tree's watching that, it's a 3v4, not a 2v5, and so. I hate putting players over there now with just OSA in the meta, but yeah, I think that was just a silly mistake for J-Tree to make to just not be watching that. We saw his mental fortitude and his absolute level head and Oregon as he clutched up those rounds and ultimately was a huge contributing factor to Agony winning round 1. So for him to be giving up free picks like that and letting Acme just kind of run all over. It seems like Agony is just, they're just not prepared at all for the unbridled dominance that Acme is just bringing on their defense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, well played by Acme. I have to give them that. There is definitely something to be said about the fact that aggression is going to be very important during this meta. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, right? It allows you to be more flexible and ultimately, more than likely, is going to let you find your way, worm your way into these positions that, oh my gosh, again, really? I not going to find anything, but in the very least, it's going to keep Agony on their toes, make themselves getting into the building just a little bit more difficult, a little bit slower, but I mean, question is how effective. ACS 12 once again brought this time on the alibi, and yeah, look at this. They're already in the building. They're already opening stuff up, but Gugsy and V Hicks all the way on the top floor. I think they've sort of decided that if they just like stay up here. Oh my gosh, they're already on the site. Wait, hang on a second. Uh, Okay, well, execute is occurring right now on that broken mirror window. TS by TS Vok, GP2 as well, making sure that this flank isn't going to come out and he's going to be effective at that 5v2 in favor of Agony as they manage to just sneak their way onto the site. V Hickson, a lovely left to try and shut them down, but yeah, that is going to be a rough situation. They found themselves both way off the site and now they're paying for it. This aggression completely taken advantage of by Agony. I mean, well played. This is exactly what I was talking about at the end of the last map, right? Agony, once they figured out the way that Acme was going to play, they took advantage of it. They said, now we're going to play our way. And they did it. Yeah. I mean, beautiful round by Agony. Getting yourself in there that early and just planting. I mean, what else? What else do you want? You're like, hey, they're being way too aggressive. Let's just go into the site. I mean, yeah, beautiful.
No, countering aggression with aggression there, because Acme basement last time just ran all over, found their picks, peaked what they shouldn't have, and won those gunfights. And so Agony's like, oh, you wanna try to do that, huh? You wanna try to square up and go toe to toe? So they bring it, and they brought it, and they're gonna take the second round, and they're gonna bring it to a 2-2. So they've at least secured themselves a decent half on Clubhouse. Now, this next round is going to really be the deciding factor. I doubt they're just going to be going for a rush like that again. Gugs bringing out the Thorn, probably going to be slowing down a little bit of that quick aggression coming out from Agony.
Or speeding it up.
Or speeding it up. You never know. I mean, they're not, it's not 100%. You could walk into one of those razor blooms and just walk right past it and not really take too much damage if you're fast enough.
Mhm.
So, unless you're Fuse, which they're bringing again. So it looks like they're going to go for a similar style of attack, I would assume, but they've got to switch it up in how they do it.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, obviously, we talk about vertical destructibility. Your first thought is kitchen, right? But that's not really the only thing that you can do. I mean, last time they brought the Mira, oh goodness, I lovely once again going to find himself outside of the building in the first 30 seconds, but this time going to lose his life for it. You've been punished for your aggression already. I think it's time for you to display what we saw in the last map and say, hey, we know how to be disciplined. Let's display that and let's do it well, right? But in any case, 5v4 very early on. Agony Esports giving themselves an early advantage, and Gugsy Wugsy as well. Going to be playing pretty aggressive on these main stairs, looking for drones, and maybe going to try and find a body down the road. But 2 drones is definitely nothing to shake a stick at on that little mini roam.
No, and I think last round getting hyper aggressive is okay, because you can give up a round and still get a 4-2 split, especially because Jim is going to open back up, which seems to be their tertiary site. So you could afford to give up last round, but you cannot afford to give up early picks here, because if Agony take this round now, they have secured themselves at least a 3-3 half. They have now dismantled you twice on your bottom 4 primary site. They've taken a 1-2 or a 2-1 win ratio on that site, and now they're going to find another pick. GP2 taking out Gugs. That's your Thorn off the board. Not a whole lot of usage coming out of that, excluding the utility that he's already put down. So Agony Esports, that aggression is being capitalized on, and they're being punished for it. You cannot be this aggressive at this point in the game.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Agony at this point is very confident. All they really have to do is keep their guns in front of them and keep their wits about them, and suddenly this is falling apart. Right? I believe I Lovely and Gugsy Wugsy two of the first picks just about every round, just because they're being so aggressive and it's just not paying for them. Their entries are not on point at this point. And now, I mean, VHIX is off the board. Plant is down. There's a player upstairs, but a flank by Nosy is actually gonna take them off guard. Seems like they got a little caught up in the fact that they're in post plant, and now VHIX, while VHIX is going to go down, Nosy has the top floor advantage, although he is going to give that up very quickly because he's not going to be able to find anyone through it. Crossfire is built, and Agony are going to take yet another round, giving themselves an advantage fairly early on this map, especially compared to the last map.
Yeah, and that's GP2 there, closing out both of those final picks just from bottom main. He's going to find the Jaeger as he crosses across dummies, and then a beautiful shot there onto the feet of Malusi as Malusi drops the main hatch. It was a great flank there from Nosy, but at that point, the plant's already down. Those players are not aware of your position, and he wasn't able to find anything else on that flank. Agony taking 3-2 now as they go back to gym. We have not seen CC one time. We have not seen Bar one time. This is all gym and it's all basement, and it's looking like it's all Agony if they can switch up their attack here and not lose a player so early. I want to see, they're bringing the Osa. They've brought the Osa. Please put it on CC window and don't put a player over there on the plat trying to cover that. It is such a waste of time, and it is such a waste of manpower having somebody totally isolated away from the site where they can't even rotate back for you execute. Thank you, Agony Esports. I feel like they listen to me.
Yeah, for once you're actually not going to get casters cursed, Fuego. I'm honestly rather impressed. But yeah, once again, a lot of hard breach, and oh, there goes your favorite operator. I'm sorry.
They hate me. It was you.
No,
you
it was
caster
me.
cursed
It was
me.
me. I have to take that one. That is 100% on me. But in any case, lots of hard breach. This is classic. And honestly, at this point, I would like to remind everyone what this game is for. This is the playoffs game for Group C. Whoever wins this match is going to go to playoffs. They are going to have that opportunity. And I kind of feel like Acme, it's hard to say if they're taking it seriously or not. They are not disciplined at this point, but well, that is certainly a play style that is it is a play style, right? And I'm expecting it to continue to fail, though. I will say looks a little bit better now. They've managed to at least maintain their lives and get back into the site where they can start building crossfires. But how effective that is going to be down the road is another question. Agony has been very effective at just dismantling anything Acme's been throwing at them. Very adaptable and really proving their worth.
Yeah, maybe Acme just doesn't have anything to bring on Cafe. Maybe that's it. Maybe they just don't want to go to map 3 because they know that it's probably just going to be a slaughter fest, or maybe they're trying to force it to go to map 3 and they know they can play a little bit aggressive because they know what they are going to bring on that map. So Gug's going to find a pick, go around to peak CC window as he pulls the player off that was watching the plat and knows that that's going to be a free angle for him to peek. Lose a little bit of damage, but he's not going to give up his life. And as I say that, he's going to go down. GP2 going to find one, and Lovely going to trade out. TS Vlog, everything's going downhill now. It's a 3v3.
Oh my goodness. And there you go. There goes the flank. And now suddenly we're in a 1v2. TS Vok is only down. He can still be rezzed, but whether or not that will happen is another question. He is in a very uncomfortable position, but Taro is going to find another. And now, being in a better position, he's going to get picked up. Suddenly, instead of a 1v2, we're in a 2v1. Agony with the advantage and making a very aggressive swing. They're aware of Nosy's position, and he's not going to be able to find them both. Agony 4-2 on their attacking split. That is a huge position to be in if your name is Agony. After all, only 3 more rounds and you're going to playoffs, baby.
I was just about to say that Acme has it's 50-50 with them. Their aggression is either amazing and they're finding the picks that they need to, or it is totally awful and disastrous and leading their players into 3v5s and 1vx's and 2vx's every round.
Well, Fuego, that's why they call those firefights 50-50s.
Yeah, and Agony, it looked so lost for them because I thought that Acme were finally starting to get something going. They weren't playing any less aggressive. They didn't switch up how they were playing at all, but they were at least finding important picks and working a little bit more disciplined, so it seemed. But then turn everything on its head because Taro, clutch master there, great discipline there to isolate a 1 and then go res his teammate, bring it up to a 2v2. It's beautiful work from Agony here. I'm not going to discount what they're doing. I I don't know what Acme's doing. I haven't been able to assess their performance so far because I agree with you. I don't feel like we're seeing serious gameplay from them.
Yeah, very, very much of a struggle at this point for Acme, but I will mention, obviously, we have this new fancy little thing called attacker repick, and that puts a lot of flexibility into the hands of the attackers. Now, if you take full advantage of that, you get attacking halves like we saw from Agony. 4-2 is not that unheard of if you're really good at taking advantage of the attacker repick. If you're really good at your early round droning, right? If you're capable of really if you're capable of taking advantage of the fact that now the defenders are less flexible, then yeah, I mean, they've taken the flexibility out of the hands of the defenders and given it to the attackers. And oh goodness, Gugsy Wugsy going down early. That is such a difficult door to enter through, and Gugsy Wugsy going to lose his life for it.
Vhic's going to trade it out. Now, Lovely going to find a pick. That's your Raptors control gone. But then Show, sitting in lounge, has a cross onto the garage walk-in. And so Lovely, unaware of that, is going to lose his life. And Vhic's going to find another one. Now it is merely a 2v3. And they have little to no control. No. Show's worked his way up, and Taro's going to find a pick here. So now it's going to bring it back to a 2v2 with Arundel and Nosy completely separated here. They have absolutely no coordination. Okay, now we're going to see Nosy work up main. This is smart. They're going to play together. He's on cams, but that's okay because they can play together at least, and that's going to give them a fighting chance to still win this 2v2 with no hard breach down, with nothing, no openings up into the site. And Show and Taro, we know they're going to play disciplined here in this 2v2.
Yeah, discipline is going to be key in this situation for the defenders. However, on the attacking side, they are just going to have to play any advantage they can get. In terms of utility, that's not a whole lot. They do have 3 flashes, so they get those through that door and manage to get them in the right positions without getting ADS'd. Well, they might be able to find a free pick, but it's going to be just that much more difficult if they don't manage to take full advantage of that. Now, looks like they are going to be switching up their push just a little bit. CC window is going to, well, it's going to be pressured. And the question really becomes, how effective is this pressure going to be, right? There goes those ADSs in the entry, but he's looking the wrong way. Taro, Castle and Mute, completely capable of just cleaning that up. Both of them finding one very promptly. Agony now 5-2, and they're on the defending half. And they won well, not their tertiary site, but generally speaking, the tertiary site.
Definitely the least favored site, and they did it with such aplomb. I mean,
Yeah.
UMP45 and SMG11, they're great guns in their own rights, but that's not really the two guns that you want to be left in a 2vx situation against Finka LMG, the cause of so much uproar and riot lately, and this pretty much the steamroller besides Zofia as far as LMG meta goes. But they win it anyways. They do it. Agony, it's beautiful from them because they don't play across the site and they hold crossfires and they're disciplined. It's beautiful coming out from Agony. Still a 2v2, granted they give up some picks they probably shouldn't have, but excellent work from them to work it down from a 2v3 into a 2v2 and then close out the round.
Now, as we move on to the Agony Sports second site, right, this is Basement. They have the Mira. Acme was not a very big fan of the Mira. Every time they brought it, they did not bring it the next round after they lost. And I think this Mira could be very potent. The 2 positions they've opted for, one, on the church wall, which is very potent because it allows a lot more pressure to be applied to the bottom of the main stairs. And oh, here comes the aggressive play from Agony. And that is going to be paid for in blood. Gugsy Wugsy opening up the round with a kill onto the Jaeger player. And now they have pretty decent control of, well, Garage. And looks like they may be going for sort of a generator moto push sort of style, just trying to get them out of that sort of lateral position between Dirt and Generator. And oh my goodness, Lovely finding a beautiful shot as well, all the way through the site, all the way from the secret stairs.
Yeah, that's the Blackbeard coming into play. That's an operator you really don't see all that often, and I'm not quite sure if they have a plan behind why, because he's usually really strong on window play, and not a whole lot of windows you can really play on here for this basement site, but nonetheless, he's going to find a pick. He's going to at least make it worth it to bring the Blackbeard here. So yeah, Acme finding 2 opening picks, 5v3. First round that's really looking dominant and winnable from them. Let's see if they can keep it up, because they've lost the previous round when it looked somewhat strong for them. Now J-Tree going to find a pick, so he's going to trade it back. That's your Blackbeard gone, and body shots nonetheless, so the shield not really coming into play there.
Minute and a half is a pretty good time right now to be starting to open up some of this vertical pressure because, I mean, with that, you're going to be able to start moving your defenders around, getting them out of their comfortable positions, making them, exist a little bit outside their comfort zone, maybe get a little aggressive even. But lots of really good discipline. And oh my goodness, Taro's going to find one, J-Tree with another, but Gugsy downstairs already. Show making a wide swing though, and gonna clean up the life of Sophia. Now at this point, it is a 1v2. Acme is really in a tough spot here. They have one player, and well, she's on the kitchen hatch. It's Habana, and now moving down the main stairs. There's going to be plenty of pressure there, but already down the main stairs, in fact. But being able to apply a lot of pressure there is going to be very important. And moving into Moto hatch, I mean, she's everywhere. She's like a ninja, and honestly, that is exactly what you need to be. But still going to be difficult. There's a crossfire, one from blue, one from this position here in church, and honestly, she's pretty much stuck in Moto. She's going to have to win one of these firefights, but Agony has shown that they have the discipline to maintain that, and Show as well, making a very beautiful play there and going to finish out the round. Agony's moved on to match point.
No, Acme just can't seem to close anything out. They found two great picks and they worked a lot of good map control. They stalled out and they were trying to force gunfights and force face checks, and that led to them going from a 3v5 down to a 1v or a 5v3 down to a 1v2. Only Agony only losing one pick after those two, and that was traded out pretty successfully there. And so going from a 5v3 to a 1v2 is not a situation that you really want to be in. And what are we seeing now from Agony? I feel like it's just a flex. We're going to head to Bar. Now, you did say with the Thatcher Mav ban that Bar is a really effective and good site, stronger than CC almost. We've seen Agony win CC.
Actually, I said the opposite of that. With the Thatcher Maverick ban, CC is a good site, and Bar drops below it slightly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I'm interested to see how Agony is going to hold this, because you can hold this almost like you could hold a CC or a gem, depending on. It looks like they're going to go for more like a standard gem hold, but you can hold the top floor of this site almost like you would, like if you were defending a top floor. So it's going to make the attack here from Acme really staggered. They couldn't clear out gem, or they haven't seen gem, but they couldn't clear out top floor. So Acme's got to bring a top floor clear in conjunction with now pushing that down and taking control of Bar and trying to force a plan as well.
Acme historically, at this point, has had very little success with any sort of vertical play. It becomes very difficult for them, and this is a site that is very reliant on vertical play. Nearly the entire ceiling above this site has opportunity for vertical interplay, and being able to take advantage of that as a defender is going to be huge for Agony. That being said, doesn't look like they have a whole lot of players up there. They've established that this is going to be a relatively horizontal push, and now Pulse as well, all the way in the basement, just feeding information to the players above. That's going to give them a little bit of an advantage in any firefight they take, and honestly, that's all they need. Agony has shown themselves to be very effective in terms of their firefights. I mean, their mechanical skill is really something to be proud of.
Yeah, and I love the J-Tree going to find a pick. That's going to be Nosy off the board, but I love the Taro. There's just no breaks. There's unbridled aggression, and GP2 going to find a pick. It's a 5v2 with a minute and a half left. That's 3 picks going the way of Agony. They're going to close this map out 7-2, and they've got great round differential. This is amazing. 5v1 now, just V-Hicks left.
Now, not aware of his position, he's going to manage to pull off the hip fire. He's going to put it down into a slightly more winnable position, 4v1. But doesn't matter how busted the Finca LMG is, when you're staring down 4 barrels, it's still going to be pretty rough. Trying to take advantage of the utility that he has, and that's exactly what he needs to be doing. He does still have a nade in pocket and a drone somewhere on the board, but whether or not it's close enough to really take advantage of is going to be another question. Now, he's going to be trying to isolate these 1v1s, because if he can't do it, it is all gone. It is Agony, and he is the last thing standing between them and losing their playoff spot. Now, V-Hicks as well, sort of walking into a triple crossfire here. Yeah, TS Vok going to clean that up, and that is going to be the end of the match. Agony winning that map 7-2 after being down the entire first map. Really, I just have to say, very impressed by Agony's play and their flexibility as well. I mean, being able to take advantage of that sort of flexibility, take advantage of the fact that you know exactly what your opponents are about to do, and then actually put it on the table requires a certain amount of mental finesse, if you will, and a little bit of mental fortitude as well. You have to be able to think strong and think fast, or else those kinds of things can fall apart, and Agony executed them quite well.
No, Agony down on map 1 all the way up until we reached overtime 6-6 and then pulling out 2 rounds. Unchalkable mental. Nothing gets to them, because now moving into Clubhouse map 2 and finding a 7-2 victory, not dropping a single defense, flawless, perfect cycle. We saw the hat trick. They pulled out bar, and they won it. It beautiful work from them to pull out that 7-2 victory. They've just secured their playoff spot. Hats off to the Agony boys, because that's a stellar performance and definitely something to be proud of.
No, absolutely agreed. They played quite well. And if you want to see more like that on Friday, we are going to be having another broadcast. This one is actually going to be our final of the regulation season, where we will see Seer versus Mystic Academy, where, well, this is also going to be a very important match. Both of these teams are going to have to do well, where Mystic Academy is going to have to win, or Seer is going to have to win. And whoever wins is going to playoffs in that bracket. So that is also going to be a very intense matchup, similar to what we saw tonight. And honestly, I've seen those two teams play. It's really, really impressive. So moving on from that, I do want to say thanks to our wonderful production. Today we've had Nova observing and Ferme, the man himself, running production. So huge shout out to those guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. Ferme just doing. So yeah, overall, awesome. You know, I love the team. Love coming out here. It was my first time casting for CCL, and it's been amazing. And so thank you to everyone that's tuned in with us tonight to join us for the viewing. And so we'll see you on Friday for when we close out Group A.